This is Barry Zalma speaking for Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter, a publication of ClaimSchool Incorporated. Today, Volume 27, Issue Number 1, dated January 1, 2023, starts out what we hope to be a Happy New Year to everyone in the insurance fraud community. Zalma's Insurance Fraud Letter, the source for the insurance fraud professional, will start out the new year with articles including an article about new Florida insurance statutes, where the state of Florida has proposed new statutes to make insurance and insurance claims more fair, and is over 105 pages long. You can read it in full by clicking on the link at the newsletter. Lawmakers in Florida passed the legislation to abolish controversial assignments of benefits on property claims, eliminate the one-way attorney fee recovery provision that is unique to Florida law, and require that binding appraisals included in a policy be stated in a separate endorsement and include a premium reduction. Bad faith litigation for failure to settle a property claim also may not be filed until after a court determines the insurer breached the contract and a final judgment is rendered against the insurer. Other provisions include shortening the time period to file property claims from 2 years to 1, and requiring insurers to reduce the period to pay or deny a claim from 90 days to 60. Anyone insured with the state's citizens' insurance must also carry flood insurance. The provisions become law when signed by the governor, which is expected as early as today, and in fact has already been signed. For those wishing more information on the new law, the Coalition Against Insurance Fraud law firm Greenberg Traurig has provided a detailed summary, which can also be read at the link on the blog posting. Then we talk about a report from the California Department of Insurance about a new law relating to insurance fraud. A press release from the California Department of Insurance, edited to report only on new laws relating to insurance fraud, provide, quote, beginning January 1, 2023, Californians will benefit from newly created consumer protections as 11 new state laws sponsored by Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara this past legislative session take effect. The new laws address climate change, expand health access and reproductive care, preserve health protections, protect against fraud, and ensure public liability. Protecting consumers, according to the Commissioner, is my number one priority. Partnership with the legislature and Governor Newsom is essential to my department's mission of bringing fairness for all in our oversight of the nation's largest insurance market. I look forward to putting these 11 new laws into effect while taking further actions that benefit the California consumers. If you click on the link or go to the full newsletter, you will be able to read the statute relating to insurance fraud that requires insurance agents and brokers to report suspected fraud. Next, we have an article on how to add to the professionalism of insurance claims professionals, and then an article on why Scott Strems was disbarred and a public adjuster facing a loss of license. The Florida lawyer who used cappers and runners to build a practice failed to serve the clients and by so doing resulted in receiving the ire of the Supreme Court of Florida, who on December 22, 2022, disbarred Scott Strems, and who was found to be guilty of professional misconduct. If you go to the newsletter, you will be able to click on a link to read the full opinion, which runs about 45 pages. Strems was the sole partner and owner of the Strems law firm, PA, and the firm's caseload grew significantly from its inception. By 2016, the firm only had 3 litigation attorneys, with each managing approximately 700 cases. SLF's inadequate staffing and lack of sufficient office procedures resulted in client neglect, case dismissals, frustrated judges, and costly sanctions on a near weekly basis. Read the full opinion of the Supreme Court if you wish to understand how a law firm can be a conduit to insurance fraud, and how a successful law firm can almost destroy the insurance industry in the state of Florida. Then we list health insurance fraud convictions, including a woman who was sentenced in the death of an 86-year-old. Leticia Martinez, 28, pleaded guilty to neglect and the death of a resident at the Capella Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility in Grand Junction. She was sentenced to 3 years probation, 100 hours of community service, and 30 days in jail. An investigation by the Medicaid Fraud Unit of the Colorado Department of Law and Grand Junction Police Department found that Martinez, Jamie Johnston, and Jenny Logan were responsible for the death of Hazel Place on June 14, 2021, after she was left outside alone in the heat for 6 hours. Martinez pleaded guilty to 1 count of caretaker neglect, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and to deferred sentence of negligent homicide, a Class 5 felony. Johnston and Logan's cases are ongoing. This report was followed by dozens more reports of health insurance fraud convictions, some with real sentences to jail. Then there's an article on the genuine dispute and fairly debatable doctrines that are defenses to the tort of bad faith, which should be in the forefront of the knowledge of every claims handler and every fraud investigator. Insurers in the states where the tort of bad faith exists, which is almost every state, who deny fraudulent insurance claims with fear and trembling, must be aware of the defenses available. The specter of punitive damages has worked to make multimillionaires of many insurance criminals who convince insurers to settle rather than take a chance on a trial of a suit alleging the insurer acted in bad faith. Every person working on a potential fraudulent claim must understand this important defense to the tort of bad faith and how to provide evidence sufficient to establish that defense if an insurer is sued for alleged breach of that tort. Other insurance fraud convictions are also reported, including one where a Buffalo bus driver got 5 years probation for workers' compensation claims fraud. Antoinette Lenny of Kenmore, New York, a former bus driver for the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority, was sentenced to 5 years probation for fraudulently obtaining workers' compensation benefits by misrepresenting her injury. She must also pay full restitution to the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority for money she was paid through workers' compensation. Laney claimed that she was unable to perform her work as a bus driver at the NFTA and fraudulently obtained $30,212.69 in pay between September of 2018 and February of 2020 through workers' compensation benefits. The defendant initially claimed she was unable to work due to a right knee injury, but later amended the claim to a lower back and left knee injury. The district attorney's office said its investigation revealed that Laney performed work through Instacart and eBay while continuing to collect workers' compensation pay. Laney pleaded guilty to one count of grand larceny on September 26, 2022, and was sentenced before the Erie County Court Judge Kenneth Case. This report is followed by many more other than health insurance fraud convictions, most of which actually include actual jail time. Next is an article about why it's time to subscribe to my locals community or to my Substack publications. And for subscribers only, I have published special insurance videos on local.com, where more than 25 videos and 2 webinars to subscribers and more than 400 free videos. I also published on substack.com hundreds of free videos and webinars of the Excellence in Claims Handling program, available only to subscribers. The subscribers have access to all the videos and a webinar on the examination under oath, a tool available to insurers to thoroughly investigate claims and work to defeat fraud, among others. The videos start with a history of insurance and work their way through various types of insurance and how to obtain and deal with insurance claims. You can subscribe and receive videos limited to subscribers of the Excellence in Claims Handling program at locals.com and at substack.com. If you found this video to be interesting or useful, please read the full Zalma's insurance fraud letter and tell your friends and colleagues about its existence and why, for more than 26 years, it has provided information necessary to assist the claims and insurance fraud investigators across the country on how to defeat or deter insurance fraud. This video is available to anyone who clicks on the URL zalma.com/blog, and the newsletter is free to anyone who clicks on the link to the newsletter, where you will find the last 2 issues of the newsletter available in PDF format. The newsletters usually run about 24 pages. You can also subscribe to my videos at zalma.com, at Rumble, and at YouTube, and you can also subscribe to my locals community and my Substack publications, and for a very small fee of only $50 a year, you can receive the special claims publications. Thank you for your attention.